Hi kindergarten, today we are going to talk about measurement and we're going to talk about height and length. So let's start off with height. Height is the size of an object from the bottom to the top. And you can measure height with a ruler or a tape measure. So let's take a look at another picture of that. With height, we are talking about the item that is taller and the item that is shorter. So you can see in this picture that the giraffe is taller and the panda is shorter, okay? So that's what we're talking about with height. So I'm gonna show you a picture of this dinosaur. And it's not a real dinosaur, it's just a picture. And I'm gonna show you two items. So I have a crayon and I have a pencil. Now, if I put my dino on the table like this, and I want to see which of these two items is taller than my dino and which one is shorter than my dino, which one do you think would be shorter? If you said crayon, you're correct. Look, if I put my crayon next to it, it is shorter than the dino picture. And if I put the pencil next to it, my pencil is taller than my dino picture. Okay, so when we're measuring height, we're deciding if something is taller or shorter. So we're kind of going up and down, okay? All right, now we're gonna go ahead and talk about length. Length is the size of an object from end to end or from side to side. And again, we're gonna measure with a ruler or a tape measure, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. So let's take a look at some animals and see which one is longer and shorter. So if we're looking at this seal and this alligator, the seal from side to side or end to end is shorter, and the alligator from side to side or end to end is longer, okay? So I have three animal pictures here. I have a rhinoceros, a tiger, and I have a penguin. I'm gonna hold on to the tiger. Now, if we're looking at the other two pictures, which one is longer than the tiger? Good, if you said rhinoceros, you're correct. If I put them side by side like this, the rhino is longer than the tiger. And then if I put this one down, which one is going to be shorter? That's correct, the penguin. If I line up my penguin with my tiger, my penguin is shorter than my tiger. So again, we're using that word shorter, but this time we're using it for length, okay? Now let's talk a little bit more about measurement. When we measure, there are certain items that we might measure with in real life. You might see your dad at home might have this called a tape measure, right? And so maybe your parents at home might measure something exactly with this so that they can see what to buy at the store. If they're trying to buy flooring or something like that, they might use their tape measure. Another item we might use to measure is this kind of a tape measure, okay? And some people who are sewing or trying to fit clothing might use this type. You might have also seen a ruler, and a ruler is another item that we use in standard measurement to do exact measurement. Now, that's something we're gonna worry about in other grade levels. But in our grade level, we're gonna measure with different types of things, like we might measure with buttons or cubes or bears or paper clips, crayons, pencils, counters, pennies. We have a hexagon, a quarter, and a Q-tip. So those are some other non-standard items you might use to measure, okay? So I'm gonna give you an example today. So I'm going to use this strip of cars to measure these roads, and we're gonna see how many cars it takes to measure them, okay? So when we measure, it's very important that we line up our items, okay? So my road starts right here. I need to start my cars at exactly that same point, okay? Now, how many cars long is road A? So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where it ends. So we're only going to say that that road is 4 cars long. Now let's measure road B and see how many cars long that one is. Is it gonna take more cars or less cars to measure road B? What do you think? I think it's gonna take more. All right, let's line up our cars. I have to line up my cars down here at this end where I'm starting to measure, okay? And let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's just a little bit left over on the end. So I would say that's 6 cars long. And since we're measuring from side to side, we are measuring the length and not the height, okay? And road B, we would say, is longer, and road A is shorter. Now let's take a look at road C. Again, I'm gonna line up my cars right along this same edge of the road where the road starts. It's very important to measure up exactly when you're measuring. Now, if we look at the road compared to the cars, we have 1, 2 cars long for road C. So far, road C is the shortest road. Let's look at road D. And again, I'm gonna start measuring and lining up my cars right here against this edge, okay? And then I'm gonna line it up over on this edge too, so they need to be lined up. So let's count our cars. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So road D is 5 cars long. And then we're gonna measure road E. Again, I'm gonna line up my car right along this edge where I'm starting to measure, and that ends up right here. So that's gonna just be 1 car long, okay? So road E is our shortest road, and then road B was our longest road. And again, since we're going from side to side, we were measuring length, okay? So today what you're gonna do is you have several activities where you're going to be measuring, doing some activities with height, and some, remember, height going up and down, tallest and shortest, and then you're gonna be measuring that length or side to side, end to end. And then you're also going to have an activity where you're gonna take some cubes and you're gonna measure some items just like I measured with these cars. You're gonna use some cubes to measure. Make sure when you're measuring, you line it up the right way and count how many cubes your item is, okay? Do a nice job, and I'm glad that you learned about measurement with me, and I will talk to you later. Bye.